Hey guys, have you ever wondered how Whis became an angel? Did he have to go through special training in his childhood to become an angel? This story will tell how the beginning of Whis' trajectory to becoming an angel was, where Whis revealed that he was once a mortal before becoming one of the most powerful beings in existence, and the strongest in his universe and among his angel brothers. So grab a bucket of popcorn and soda and come with me, and of course don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on the video. Well, without further ado, let's get started. In the 6th universe. Currently in the 6th universe, it was possible to see Goku, Vegeta, Champa, Vados, Beerus, and Whis all together around a table sitting. Everyone was paying attention to Whis, who would reveal how he became an angel, and not a simple angel, as one of the strongest among the 12 angels responsible for the universes and the gods of destruction. Whis said, "I don't know where I should start telling my story. Should I tell from the part where the high priest chose me to be one of the possible angels, or should I tell my story before that happened?" asked the angel while thinking about which part of his mortal life he should start telling his story. Vegeta spoke. "How about starting from the beginning, when you and Vados were separated? It would be more interesting to know the story from the beginning of everything, to know if your childhood was good or not," said the Prince of Saiyans, while looking at the angel who looked at Vegeta and thought a little about what the Saiyan said. Whis said, "Well, I didn't have an easy childhood, but I still don't feel bad talking about it, because it was thousands of years ago, and it doesn't affect me anymore, so I'll do as Vegeta said, and I'll tell you everything from the beginning," said the angel while looking at Vegeta and then looking at everyone else around him. Whis said, "Well, it all started when," said the angel, starting his story of when he was a simple mortal, who in the future would become one of the sons of the Daishinkan and one of the most powerful angels. Thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago, even before the formation of all 12 universes, in a single universe it was possible to see a young baby who had just been born, and was now in a nursery along with a baby identical to him. But the baby next to him, of the boy, was a girl, and she was his twin sister. The baby was called Kion, and next to him was his twin sister, Kikian. Kion and Kikian were in the nursery sleeping peacefully until a tall man with an athletic physique walked into the place where they were. The man, upon seeing the twins, took Kion in his arms and removed him from the place, leaving only Kikian in the nursery. The man, after picking up Kion, left the hospital where they were, and in a silent and discreet way, the man took the baby to a spaceship far from the hospital, then started it and left the planet at high speed. After several hours wandering through outer space, the man reached a planet and landed his spaceship in a flat field on top of a castle. When the man landed his spaceship, he got out of it with Kion in his arms, and went to a man who was sitting on a throne, and who would probably be the king of the planet or kingdom. The man then gave Kion to the king, who became sick when seeing the baby. Then the king made a gesture with his hand, and one of the guards took the baby, and the other gave money to the man, who smiled and left the place. The guard, upon picking up Kion, took him to a saddle with some women, who were feeding some babies, and left him inside. When the woman saw the baby, they ended up knowing why he was placed there, so one of the women ended up taking Kion and started breastfeeding him. And that way Kion grew until he was 5 years old. When Kion turned 5 years old, he ended up becoming a slave to that kingdom. And like any slave, Kion was obliged to do everything he was told to do, every day. And when he didn't do it, Kion suffered a punishment. But most of the time, he wasn't the one who suffered. And yes, the person that Kion called mother, and the people he called brothers, because for someone as kind as Kion, seeing who he liked being hurt because of him was something much worse than being hurt by his jailers or the torturers. After 10 long years of being a slave, Kion ended up learning some important things, including the value of freedom and the pleasure of enjoying all kinds of food. Because as a slave, he was not able to eat tasty foods or that taste better than washing. Daily, Kion had to work in extremely hot places and do extremely heavy work for anyone to tolerate, and Kion was no exception. And because of the climate of the planet and the places he had to stay, Kion never wore a shirt, both because of the climate and also for the fact that he did not like to wear a shirt. And because of that, some of his scars were exposed on his back, which was the main place where he was punished, in addition to others such as the abdomen and chest. Kion, after all these years working as a slave, he was lucky enough to be chosen by the daughter of the king of the planet, what Kion was, and that way he ended up becoming a servant of the princess who would be the queen of the entire kingdom in the future. After Kion became the servant of the princess who was called Mimi, Kion's life improved in several ways, and one of them was that Kion no longer needed to be afraid of being punished if he couldn't complete his daily work, because his new master was polite and kind to Kion, and even offered him a nice room with every luxury he could dream of. Kion worked for years serving Mimi in the best way he could, and that pleased the princess a lot, because Kion did things in an impeccable way. Kion didn't know, but Mimi was increasingly interested in him, but not as a servant but as a man. And even though the princess was the future queen and was already engaged to a prince from another planet, the princess still felt a lot of attraction for Kion, and the fact that he practically never wore a shirt was something that pleased the princess a lot. Kion only wore some top clothes when it was really necessary, but when he wasn't Kion, he didn't wear them because he didn't like to wear those clothes very much, and the hot climate of the planet didn't help a lot. And what most enchanted the princess was the scars he had that made him more attractive to the princess. Mimi was very fond of Kion, and she had already shown this several times over the years. But Kion never really cared about it because he knew that what Mimi felt was nothing more than desire and not love. And Kion was smart enough not to try relate to the princess, because if Kion did that, he would be hunted and killed not only by the king but also by the prince who was Mimi's groom and who did not know about his bride's attraction to Kion. Because if the prince knew, he would kill Kion ASAP. Mimi tried everything to make Kion feel desire for her. The princess had lowered herself several times to attract the attention of the man she desired, but she never managed to awaken Kion's desire, which in the eyes of the princess was too quiet, and that irritated her a lot. So the princess made a decision that either she would have Kion by hook or by crook. Mimi forced Kion to go to her room one night and said that she wanted Kion to be hers, and if he refused, she would kill him. But Kion, even being threatened with death, he refused to do anything with the princess, because if Kion had to die, he would at least die with his dignity intact. Mimi, seeing that she would never have the one she truly loved by her side, Mimi screamed, feigning despair, and seeing her plan, Kion ran at full speed out of the castle, and it didn't take long for the news that a mere slave had tried to abuse the princess. Kion was chased endlessly for days until some guards found him and entered into a conflict with him. But Kion, for having been a slave for years, ended up developing a certain degree of strength, and watching some soldiers fight over the years, Kion also ended up learning to fight, both unarmed and using a sword. So using the skill that Kion developed during these years, he ended up facing all the guards. But in the end, he ended up losing to the guards because there were many. Kion was only one. When Kion saw that he was very weak and that his death was already certain, Kion simply closed his eyes and waited for his death. But death never came. So gathering a little of his strength, Kion opened his eyes and saw that all the guards who were in the place were knocked out, and among them was a man with white hair and bluish skin. The man was wearing a strange blue outfit. The Daishinkan spoke.
"Looks like you finally woke, Kion. I will be brief. My name is Daishinkan and I am the High Priest, and I am gathering candidates to become angels, and also my children. And you are one of the candidates I have chosen. So I will give you two options. The first is for you to come with me and leave this place permanently, or I heal you and leave you here, where you will be hunted for the rest of your life. What's your choice?"
asked the being with white hair, revealing his name and why he was in that place. Kion said, "I don't have many choices anyway, so I accept to go with you. After all, if I stay here, I'll be dead in a short time," said the boy while looking at the Daishinkan, who just smiled at that. With that, we'll end today's video. If you want to see the continuation of this incredible story, leave a lot of likes in the video and comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you another day, guys.